Year, everybody. All types of hugs and love and kisses and everything. I got to be careful. See, you already hear all the bumping. So hugs and love and kisses and everything to everybody. To everybody. I missed all of you. Because, I wasn't here for the holidays because Mommy was a busy girl. Like, seriously, everyone's busy in general around that time. It's like once Halloween comes, it's a done deal. Like, it's a blur until after New Year's. You be like, Halloween. You be like, oh, my God, it's like 2000 and, the next year. So it just goes by fast. As soon as Halloween hit, all of a sudden you see a Christmas tree. I'm like, damn, it's still October. Like, hello. Anyway, I hope everyone had an awesome oh my gosh, holiday season, Christmas, New Year's. We are still here. We are still prosperous. Still, well, I am. But I'm going to, speak that for everyone else. I'm happy. I am grateful. I love myself. Y'all know how I normally say, I love who I am and I totally adore who I'm becoming. Because trust and believe, I am a flower blooming as we speak. And I feel awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm surrounded by like-minded people, and more people are actually coming in. I am meeting others and more, like I say, like-minded people, and we making things happen, and I am grateful for that. I am truly, truly grateful. But once again, Happy New Year, everyone. Grateful to be here and all that good stuff. So I want to get started because I do have a guest coming in today, Darius Peace and Love Stanton. This is the one he does, he dances on his Fridays or whenever he has a show. He loves dancing. So he'll get up, he'll dance, he'll perform. I was on his show before, and he had his mother up there dancing. They was getting it in. Like, they did not play. So I see where he get his dance moves from, because his mother got up there and got it in. She was a classy, beautiful lady, but she still got it in. So that's who is my, that I will have here today as my guest. So something new that I want to do, because a lot of people are like, well, what's Ouch Girl? What does it represent? This and that. So I'm just going to give you a quick snippet of what Ouch Girl is, or what what Ouch Girl represents. So and I will do this every show until you get it, until you can recite it back to me. So so anyway, Ouch Girl apparel represents the empowered woman. This empowered woman has struggled, has experienced setbacks and challenges, yet she still persisted. She is the powerhouse behind flourishing businesses, prosperous companies, successful organizations, and happy households. Do you hear me? She exemplifies excellence, yes, grace and tenacity. She exudes self-confidence, okay? She wears Ouch Girl, and she's an empowered woman. That is it, and that is all. I'm going to say this every show so y'all can get it. So when people are like, well, what's Ouch Girl? Ouch Girl represents the empowered, and you'll be able to recite it. But that's what Ouch Girl is all about. It's just empowered women, and I feel that, if I'm being empowered, how can I say I'm empowered if I'm not empowering others? So that's what it is. That's what it's about. That's what we do. Ouch Girl apparel. I got other Ouch Girl things. Oh my gosh, it's just so much. So, mum's the word until you see it. But I'm grateful. So anyway, starting off this new year, let me tell y'all what y'all need to start off with. Can y'all start off with yourselves first? And what I mean by that, starting off the new year with yourselves first, that means loving yourself. If you want to start your own business, be happier at your job, have a happier marriage, life, whatever may have you. A happy relationship with children, spouse, significant other, friends, church, whatever. Start with yourself. It starts with you. And when I say start with yourself, start believing in yourself, using your words of affirmation. And it starts off how you start your day. If you get up in the morning and you be like, you hear my noise? Guess what? The rest of your day is going to be like that, because that's what you put out, into the universe as soon as you opened your eyes. Let's not do that. Why don't we go ahead and start off with something positive? As soon as you open your eyes, yes, I am up. Yes, everything is working. Oh my gosh, I am so grateful. Start with that. And it's just that simple. If you have a whole bunch of negative energy around you, let it go. If there's a lot of negative people around you, then you need to put yourself around like-minded people, positive people. That's just starting it off. Start with you first. And trust me, because I know I'm a living testimony. Everything else good will follow. Trust and believe. So please just make sure you keep yourself in a positive space. You keep yourself around positive people, like-minded people. And I mean positive. Because when I say like-minded, I don't mean like, so if you negative or surround yourself with negative people, because then that's all y'all going to get 24/7. It's going to keep coming. You keep complaining, then you're going to have more things to complain about. That's laws of attraction. It's just that simple. There's other laws, trust, but that's laws of attraction. So just start with yourself first. Start being positive, loving yourself. Please love yourself. You have to love yourself if you expect others to love you. Please, oh please. Because I know I love myself. Yes. Please and thank you. So go from there and just keep it moving. And trust me when I tell you, even if it's a job you don't like, just be grateful that you have a job. Be grateful that that check is coming in. Be grateful from that. Just start with that. And it'll even get better and better from there. Trust me. Start with that. And it'll keep on going from there. I don't care what it is. Trust me. That's all I can say is just trust me. I done been there and I've done that, and I'm still climbing. And I'm not looking back, y'all, at all. Only time I told y'all look back or come back down is to grab a hand and we keep going. That's the only time that I will look back or come back down is just to grab a hand and keep going, okay? For like-minded people. So that we start, okay, so we covered that part. I did put on Facebook Live and I think Instagram Live. I need 4 male models. I need 4 male models and 3 to 4 female models, okay? Yes, like yesterday. If y'all can get in touch with me, you can email me at ouchgirl@gmail.com. You can Facebook me, you can Instagram me, you can DM me. And for all of you, like I said before, if you know my personal phone number, you can call me or text me as well. But I do need 4 male models, please. Also, there's a fashion show coming up that I am involved in, and they're looking for vendors. They are looking for children apparel. So if you have a clothing line for children, whether you want to start it, you want to get it out there, you have a sister, cousin, brother, friend, lover, whatever may have you, that has a children line, please, children apparel, please, oh please contact me because we need you. I'll put in more detail as far as what age for the children. So like I say, just DM or get in contact with me and I will let you know. So I think we have the models for that, for the fashion show. It's a children's fashion show. So vendors and anyone, any of you that has children apparel and you want to get it out there or you know someone that has it, please, oh please, contact me as soon as possible. And I'll give you the details so you can go from there, okay? Trying to figure out if I'm touching anything else. Is there a coat drive, sir? Yes. So okay. There's a coat drive. There will be a commercial. So and what this is just a coat drive to help the less fortunate people that need coats. You know that cold weather's still coming. I know it's kind of tricky. Like right now, it's been kind of warm, but don't let Maryland weather fool you. I've been living here for a minute. Our winters come like late January, February, and all of a sudden the snow is like boom. I'm not trying to make anyone upset, whoever hates snow, but, you know, take it all in stride. I like all 4 seasons. You know, I'm blessed to see all 4 of them. So if it's snow that it is, then I'll go out there and I'm going to enjoy that snow. Rain, will I go out there and enjoy the rain? No, but I'll enjoy it in the house and I'll sleep and enjoy the rain. But just enjoy yourself and enjoy life. And like I say, always stay positive and do what you do best, okay? So anyway, I'll put all that stuff out there. So I am going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back with my guest, Mr. Darius, Peace and Love Stanton. And, yeah, we're going to get it started from there because he has a lot to talk about. Y'all know how he is. He's just like, so, yeah. Okay, I'll be back, y'all, okay? Bye. Next time I'm going to tell you a lesson.
Let's see. It's the cancers. Is this the cancers, right? Happy birthday to the superstars. Let me see who got a birthday out there. Let me see. Happy birthday, Renee. Yeah. Also, shout out to my man Boo in the building. And JJ Smith is here too. Yeah. Birthday. Linda and Kathy and Lester got a birthday, y'all. Grown folk style. Hi, Gina. Daylight. I wake up feeling like you won't play right. I usually know, but now that thing don't feel right. It made me put away my pride. Hey. So long, you made me wait for so long. It's hard to know a girl like that could go wrong. I really wanna make this mine. Hey, oh yeah. If you want it, hey, you can have it, baby. If you need it, we can make it whole. If you want it, you can have it, baby. So stay on, baby, creep. Ooh, they gon' find you, gon' get you sleep. Oh, now stay on, baby, creep. Yeah. Won't you ride? Yeah. Too late. You wanna make it right, but now it's too late. My peanut butter chocolate cake with Kool-Aid. I'm trying not to waste my time. Oh, yeah. If you want it, yeah, you can have it, baby. If you need it, but we can make it all. If you want it, you can have it, baby. So stay on, baby, creep. Ooh, they gon' find you, gon' catch you sleeping. Oh, now stay on, baby, creep. Won't you close your eyes? Yeah, yeah,
Hi, y'all. I'm sorry. He just said something at the last minute.
It's my job to make you laugh,
You made that?
make you smile.
No, I told you who made that. He did awesome on that, didn't he?
Okay, yes, he
Yeah,
did.
that was awesome. Good
Yes,
stuff.
he did. Yes, he did.
Hey, y'all. In my Southern Illinois accent. Hey, y'all. I am back with Mr. Darius Peace and Love Stanton. Am I correct? 'Cause I said-
That's right. That's right. Peace and love.
Yes,
Peace
yes.
and love.
Okay, so Darius, he's like walks of many things. He does jack of all trades. That's what I'm gonna say. Jack of all trades. So Darius, can we start? I need you to start off first of all. You know, we know you're Darius Stanton, but like, what do you do? I need you to go into everything that you do or your titles of everything that you do, so they can get a, you know.
Well, Ron, you got some go for me first of all. You know,
Oh,
so
you
we
know what?
You know, we go.
I'm gonna let y'all know now. This man dances. I know.
We probably won't do a whole lot of dancing. I danced out last night at the inaugural
Him and his beautiful
ball.
wife went to the inaugural ball of
Muriel
thank you.
Bowser,
'Cause I live over there
Muriel
in Columbia,
Bowser,
so, okay.
two-time mayor of the District of Columbia. And you know, you got to give props where props is due. So first and foremost, thank you, God, for blessing us to be able to be here this morning.
Oh, I did that too.
Okay, right on. There you go. We're on the same
Okay.
page. But thank you, Miss Ebony, for having me on Ouch Girl.
Please and thank you.
You know what I mean? Because I remember not too long ago when before you had your own show, you were on a Piece of the Morning show,
I sure
and
did.
you had your models in here, and they
I
did
sure
their whole
did.
thing. Y'all took over the studio,
I sure
and
did.
now this whole joint, instead of saying Vox, is like Ouch everywhere.
I know. I just told them before you came in, I was on there, and I was telling them, I was like, I was on this show, and I was like, he dances, y'all. I said, he was up there. I said, then all of a sudden, his mother got up there, and she gracefully showed off.
Did she
and I was like,
gracefully?
that's where he gets it from.
Exactly.
I said, his mother showed off.
All the way. I
said, she was dancing. I was like, she got up there. I was like, you couldn't tell her nothing. I was like, yes.
All the way. Now, my dad does dance, too, so I'm going to give him his props.
Really?
But I didn't get the dancing from him. And no, I didn't. You know, that comes from my grandmother's side. Now, he can dance, though. He's a hand dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can hand dance. He can dance two at one time. He can, like,
really?
you know, oh, yeah, that's his thing. No
I know.
doubt.
When I see how they getting it in, I was like, oh, I would love to, because it's a lot of footwork and hand dancing, too. It's a lot of footwork.
It is. But, yeah, I truly want to thank you for having me, and congratulations on doing such a phenomenal job with this show. I've been watching it. You know, I saw you had a group of young people on here not too long ago.
Oh, they're coming back.
They're coming back?
Oh, they doing. We got so much good stuff for them. You wait till you'll see it.
Okay, I love it. Well, you know, who is Darius A. Stanton?
You want that music?
Oh yeah, the music. There it is. We're gonna car dance though. Yeah. So they went on the show last night. Yeah. Yeah, they can hear you. That's right. I can't even touch that. She got some little car dance in her. Come on. That's right. Oh. Here we go. You want to know about Mr. Peace and Love, bro? You rock, you shot, and we peace, and we love, and we push, thank God, vibration, everywhere we go. Check us out, y'all. Here we go, y'all. House girl, man. One time, man. Here we go. With Darius A. Stanton and the Peace in the Morning Show. Well, what I do is I work with people that get us to the next level. Thank you, Mom, for that. That just brought me back for a moment. It brought me back for a moment.
I had to contain myself. Okay, go ahead.
First and foremost, we push peace and love.
Okay.
You know, that's essentially, if people want to know that, because people ask me all the time, how do you do all the things you do? What do you do? How do you do it? You know, and in effect, my purpose in life is to push peace and love.
Okay.
You know,
I
was the type of child that
Business owner.
when I watched people argue or see conflict, I would go to another room. Now, I just don't like arguing. You know, you mentioned the fact that my wife's in the studio. We've been together for 30 years, married for 22. And we don't do a whole lot of arguing.
I don't blame you.
We don't do a whole lot of bickering, I just don't like that.
It's
She doesn't like that. Our house is peaceful, thank God.
I love it.
You know, for the most part, you know, so I promote that. And I got peace and love from going to Jamaica with some rosters. There was a spot in D.C. called the Community Warehouse. It was a food warehouse, a natural food co-op, and they used to distribute health foods to all of the health food stores, basically in the Mid-Atlantic region. And but also on the second floor of the warehouse was a communal space. They held concerts, they did workshops. You know, they had some of the awesome, like Ahmad Jamal, and a lot of great reggae and jazz artists used to, you know, perform there. So at 11, 12 years old, I went to Jamaica with this group of rosters, and they said peace and love. So I've been saying peace and love since I was like 11 and 12 years old, right? But then it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to embody it.
To practice it and embody it.
And so I embody peace and love because I really promote peace and I promote love. You know, and in order for you to love yourself, you got to be at peace with yourself.
Sir.
And so, and so that just kind of now trickles into all of the things that I do.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about that's so important today is men for domestic peace, right? So I say peace and love instead of saying hi, instead of saying HELLO when people answer the phone, I say, you know, HI. I mean, I say peace and love. And the reason why I say that is because I want to speak what I want to see come into existence.
Okay.
HELLO, we have enough of that right now. You know, we see HELL every day on television, the newspaper, all of the atrocities that are going on in the world. So we need something that's going to promote what we want to see, which is peace and love. And so when I talk about, you know, men for domestic peace, mentioning in the home, you know, everything really starts at home. So as a motivational speaker, and I've been speaking my entire career, like since I was 19 years old. The challenge has been for me, I was speaking and doing other projects, right?
Yeah.
So now Darius A. Stanton is a motivational speaker,
Okay.
right? So I'm shifting gears, taking all of the experiences that I had, all the things that I was taught and trained as a child, all the things that I did working for the mayor of the city of Annapolis, working as a drug czar at 21 years old, working as a youth coordinator for the county executive at 19 years old, then running Boys and Girls Clubs at 24 years old, and then at leaving Boys and Girls Clubs 17 years later, running like 17 clubs, 150 staff, 5 different boards, taking all those experiences, including being in business for myself, along with my wife with the Stanton Group, and speaking on those things,
yeah.
right? And so the motivational speaker, there are 3 major platforms. One is retooling leadership, okay? Because we live in a society where the things that we pay attention to, the impacts, the factors, so health, education, crime, finance and wealth, and housing, right?
Okay.
Out of those things, only one in the African American community in the last 50 years have we improved upon, and that one is education. What good is an education if your health is still poor, if your finances are still poor, if you're still being incarcerated at high rates and committing crime? What good, are those other factors, right? So we want to help retool how we lead, take ego out of it, put principle in front of profits, and put people over politics, right? And so we want to help shift leaders from leading the old way and getting the same results to lead with also, most importantly, succession in mind. Okay. Like you doing the show, but you bringing those young people on the show.
I do.
So guess what that's doing? That's making them think about doing their own show. So they'll be like, I could do that because I used to be on Miss Ebony's show. That's succession, right? The second one is education being the new sport. So I talked about education being the only one of those 5 factors that went to the next level, right? What good is that? Education, if you're not taking a new approach to get better results from education. So I want people to take education. I want them to look at it from this vantage point. I want you to look at education and treat it like you treat sports.
Okay.
Because sports people love, right? It's football, basketball, soccer, whatever sport it is, they love it. America's #1 in the Summer Olympics and #2 in the Winter Olympics.
Okay.
I want them to take that and create basically an entity that supports moving us forward from all the other vantage points. So, for example, when people have science fairs, do they call their children, the grandparents and their cousins up, like to do the football game, and say, hey, come see John play, do a science project.
Yeah.
So the science project, you might have 1 or 2 people there.
Yeah.
But you call everybody for the football game. And everybody's coming.
Yeah.
Right? You on the sideline for the spelling bee? Maybe, maybe not. But you definitely on the sideline for the bad. That's my son. That's my baby. That's my baby. Clap and show. Right? So we put that same, and people respond to positive motivation.
Yes.
So shifting that mindset and treating giving the same level of energy. And think about the money. We spend money on Jordans. We spend money on all these things. We spend equipment, training, camps. You did it. You got 2 successful boys that are in the military now, but they play sports, and you ran them to AAU.
Football, all that stuff.
And all them sports camps, all that money, right? All them hotels you had to stay in. All of that money for that, right? Yeah. Just think if we take that same amount of money and put it into speed reading classes.
But you're right.
Let's say we in leadership and sports camps, academic camps. Those types. So shifting our resources, what we invest our time and energy into, we're going to get the greater results. Mm-hmm. So that's education's new sport. The third one is focused on stepping into your own shoes.
Okay.
That's what you're doing.
I am.
Right? So you have all these different
exciting.
talents. You in the military, right?
No.
Oh, you were never in the military?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you took all of your business background, all the things that you learned, and you said, you know what, I'm going to create GURL.
Yeah.
And
I
then
jumped.
you jumped out there.
I did.
Right? So you stepped into your passion.
I did.
And look at you,
It makes
smiling,
me
happy. Look.
I am delighted to wake up in the morning. I'll be like, yes, another day to be great.
So now you have a brand, you
Yeah.
have products, you're selling clothing, you have a talk show.
Yeah. More stuff coming.
More stuff coming. All out of your passion.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So, but you're not living what people want you to do.
No.
You're doing what God gave you and blessed you to do.
I dreamt about it.
You stepping into your
I
own
did.
passion.
Yes.
And then the last component is the one that is just so critical for us: men for domestic peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you watch this whole thing with R. Kelly. You saw what happened to Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
You know, it's in everybody's community. It's in every. But I often bring up, you know, the Catholic Church. You know, there was 1,000. They have 1,000 reported cases in Pennsylvania that last year that finally got brought to the table, and some level of justice was served with regard to them. But you had for centuries, for decades,
yes.
the Pope, the Cardinal, the Archbishop,
It's a lot.
all of those people first of all, doing it themselves,
Yep.
molesting boys and girls and women
Yes.
themselves. In addition to molesting them, then they would find out about it and sweep it under the rug.
Yep.
They would promote the people after finding out
I know.
that they were abusers. They promoted them. All over the world they did this. So they created a rape culture. But so rather than focus on stopping domestic violence, I want people to use what we do, which is a theme in all of our. The one night that I saw it the other day, I went online and I looked at. I took a domestic violence assessment, right? To if you're controlling. It's 3 different bullet points, and I'm saying this because I want to encourage men to do this because we need to assess our behavior to find out if we're participating in this, if we are being abusers ourselves, if we were abused. We get a lot of things suppressed. So the first thing is to take that assessment. I spoke the other day to a group of men. Shout out to the Annapolis Ministerial Ministers AMA Alliance, and basically it's a group of men that travel throughout Anne Arundel County in churches that work together. They meet on the 5th Saturday of every month and have a prayer breakfast at different churches. And I happened to be their keynote speaker last weekend. And what I told the men was, go out and get an assessment. Go to counseling. Everybody in there. It was men from 12 years old to 75. I said, go see a counselor. Even if you don't think you have an issue. But the number one reason why I want you to do that is because that's something you can do, and then share it with your family that you did it. Because in our community, in the African American community, we don't think that counseling, some of us don't think that counseling is for black people.
Yeah.
When there are shootings or killings at, predominantly white schools or communities, the predominantly white institutions send out trauma teams.
They do.
And they meet with those folks.
They do.
When shootings and killings happen in our community, very seldomly, this is my work, I do this type of research, they don't readily send out those trauma teams. And we, in terms of our own communities, it was happening in the District of Columbia. They were sending out, clergy, other paraprofessionals, and professionals to support victims of violence in Southeast, Northeast, and different parts of the city. But in large, that's not happening. And so our communities go untreated. We didn't get treated for being in slavery for 400 years. There's no post-traumatic slavery treatment program, mental health program that's taking place. We need that kind of treatment. We need that kind of support. We need to find ways to make sure that our communities and our families know it's okay to go get counseling. So I asked those men to go get counseling because I want them to first model that for their families. But secondly, what's happening in your life or what happened in your life that caused you to be an abuser? Was it something else that happened that makes you do something in your behavior? You don't know quite why you're doing it, but you may have suppressed being abused yourself. You might have watched your mother, your father, be abused, or something may have happened that's being suppressed in you. It might not have anything to do with abuse at all, but something that is impacting your behavior, and you have to release that.
Yep.
And in order for us to break this cycle of abuse, so that's why I said men for domestic peace.
Yes.
The assessment, though, I'm asking men to do because in relationships, we're not aware necessarily of how we're behaving is impacting our spouse, girlfriend, significant other. You know, so it's about, it depends on the survey, but it's one survey. So I Googled, how do you know if you're being abused in a relationship?
Okay.
Another one was, how do you know if you're being controlling in a relationship? How do you know if you are in a domestic violence relationship? And it asks about 10 to 15 questions in most of them. And the type of questions were, you know, are you physically abusive? Does someone make you do sex acts that you wouldn't normally want to do? Are you extremely jealous and want to know the email password, every password to everything that they have, all access to their information? Do you track everywhere they go? You know, is your mate supportive? Do they stop you from going out with your friends? All of these kinds of questions, right? So what it made me do was then look at myself and my relationship to see, you know, what am I doing if any of these things that could lead in that direction, right? But if we don't take the time and stop to do that, then how do we know if we're doing it? Because you're caught up in it, right? When you're doing, you know, one of the things that people don't often do is what I call, it's self-actualization, right? So think about a clock. Like right now, that second hand is constantly going.
Right.
Right? And that's how life is. It's constantly going. At what time do you step outside of the clock and make an analysis of your life? So crack addicts are a great example. So crack addicts, they just focus on getting crack. They get up in the morning, they're going to get crack. They just think, oh, crack. You know, that's what or whatever the drug of choice is.
Yeah.
It's not until one day they look in the mirror and see their teeth are rotten because they're not bathing. See that their body is frail because they're not eating.
Skin, everything.
They see that their hair looks a mess because they're not, whatever the mess looks like, because they're not taking care of themselves. Yeah. Until you get a snapshot of what is going on in your life, you really don't, it doesn't become real for you.
I know.
So that's why I said, let me take this assessment to see where I am and make sure, because I believe one of the reasons why I believe we've been able to stay together so long is not because I'm perfect, because I'm not, but I work to take corrective action. So when you tell me something that I'm doing that's not right or good or pleasing to you, then I'm going to find out what can I do to change that behavior and correct it, take corrective action. And so I encourage men to take that assessment because we've seen so much abuse. It's rampant in the Catholic Church, but it's rampant in the black community. Look at how many people died, the women that got shot. I just saw something today where I told you about the story in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's another story in Texas where this man shot a woman in the head. Well, allegedly he turned himself in, shot this woman in the head, and it was children in the room. They don't know who, and all 3 children were killed. But that's been happening like in Prince George's County where we live for the last several years. You know, so what do we do to break these cycles of violence? And I say the first thing is we got to check ourselves and look in the mirror and ask ourselves and be willing, you know, and then encourage other men. Man, you been to a counselor? You know, have you done a domestic violence survey to see if you are you abusive in your own home and don't know it? Because if I was raised by somebody who yelled at their children all the time, beat their children all the time, when their mother did something they liked, they saw them hit their mother. What am I going to do as a parent when I become a parent? Either I'm going to do the same thing or I'm going to make a conscious decision not to do that because I saw what it did to me. And so we have to make those assessments, and then we have to start standing up. And that's why I say men for domestic peace. We have to start taking stands and making sure that men stand up and say, this is not acceptable, or yo, man, you shouldn't do that to your woman. I saw you, you take that, and people, I tell women all the time, I'm never telling another man, another woman about anything about somebody else unless it has to do with their relationship, unless it has to do with abuse. I'm not stepping. I can't give you no advice. I can't step in. My grandmother told my wife and I when we first started dating, you know, people gonna say stuff, you know, but don't get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
Yeah.
But when it's a situation where somebody's being physically abused, emotionally abused, then at that point, as a man, it's your responsibility. You know, and have I always stepped up when I think I saw something? No. And I'm ashamed that I haven't done that. But guess what? Moving forward in my life, I will not be making that mistake. Yeah. And that's the kind of, you know, stand that men have to take. So that's what I'm speaking on. That's what, you know, if you want to know about, you know, us as a speaker, you can go to my company, our company, the Stanton Group.
The Stanton Group.
.net. The Stanton Group, STANTONGROUP, the StantonGroup.net. And then the next gear is the Peace in the Morning show. So, you know, we started at eLife Media, came over here to Vox, now about to launch at Bowie City Cable, and we'll also be broadcasting from our Peace in the Morning show .tv website.
Awesome.
And we're going to be doing, you know, funking it up, dealing our regular go-go jams,
does, yeah.
you know. But it's all about, you know, bringing peace in the morning. And so broadcasting. We'll be broadcasting this coming the 21st on January 21st in Annapolis, Maryland. I'll invite you to come down if you like. You can come down with your Ouch Girls, and we're going to.
We have a new line coming out.
A new line?
For men too.
Okay.
It's awesome. I can't wait. So I can't. Yeah. So,
okay. All right. Well, consider us being one of your sponsors.
Yeah,
you know, one of your
is
models.
awesome.
There. You know. But the 21st of January, the city of Annapolis is hosting its 5th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Parade.
I saw that.
Right. And so it starts at 12 p.m. In the city of Annapolis, downtown. It ends there. And we'll have a concert, you know, which will take place. So come on out. I happen to be the chair of that. This will be my last year's chair. So we're looking for a new chair for the parade. Thank you to all the people that have been working and doing the work. Miss Josephine, Miss Pat, Miss Cassandra, you know, all of those folks that have been working to get the parade off the ground. David Stansberry, thank you so much. Will Rao. But yeah, so that's coming up on the 21st of January, City of Annapolis, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. MLK Parade. So we'll be broadcasting live from there. So you're welcome to come and be a part of that broadcast if you like and sit out in the cold. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. That's right. So thanks, Ron. You know, he was there in our last event. The other one, though, is on the 13th of January. Now, this is going to be exciting. Now, we're not broadcasting live. I'm actually served as the master of ceremonies, but there's a brother. You familiar with the famous photographer, Gordon Parks?
No.
So Gordon Parks is a famous African-American photographer who really, I guess, throughout the Renaissance, of Harlem Renaissance in that era, on up until he passed, took just pictures all over the world and is just known as one of the greatest photographers, but definitely one of the greatest African-American photographers of our time. So there's a gentleman who's local named David Oggy, O-G-G-Y, Ogborn, right? And we're honoring him on the 13th of January at the City Winery with DC Nightlife as the primary sponsor. And we're creating a Living Legacy series to be able to highlight people who are living legends, like unsung heroes and things of that nature, because we understand how important it is for people to see models, just like we talked about, of what it is that you want to do. So when you see these people who are talented, you're like, oh, I might want to be a photographer, you know. And so Augie has taken pictures of U.S. presidents, every U.S. president, and I say pictures, I mean close-up photographs, not just I'm in the crowd, right?
So he actually got access to
access. So he's got pictures in the backseat of Cher's limousine. Tina Turner. Muhammad Ali.
That's awesome.
You name it, you know, the late, great Nancy Wilson. And not only did he photograph these folks, but he also developed relationships with them. So he's going to be on the 13th talking about his career as a photographer.
Okay.
So we're encouraging anybody who loves history, anybody who wants to know something about being involved and engaged in the entertainment world, anyone who wants to become a photographer, who is a photographer already,
Yes.
how to take your photography and turn it into art. City Winery, January 13th. The cost is $25. You can go on the Eventbrite, DC Nightlife's page, as well as the Peace in the Morning Show, or Darius, Mr. Peace and Love Stanton's page, and get information.
So I just wanted to reiterate, okay, and piggyback on that. So anyone that's interested in photography, maybe something that you want to start yourself, or even just in general, just art in general, please make sure you look into that. He said everything, where the tickets are, where you can buy tickets, and it's January 13th. I'm sorry.
That's right, January 13th.
January 13th, okay? So please make sure you write that. Y'all know what's on the internet, this is always on the internet, so y'all can rewind, y'all can look and go over this and write everything down. You know what? So what we're going to do is take a break right quick, because there's still more that he has to talk about, which is awesome. This man has so much information. I'm surprised he ain't busting out the seams right now, but it's just so much he got going on. So we'll be right back. We're about to take a break. I'll be back.
Wave. believe that no one in the DMV should go without a coat this winter. So we partnered with Star Imports dealership for this year's annual coat drive. If you have an old or gently used coat that can still be worn, drop it off with us. Vox Wave Studios at 4711 Off Place, Suitland, Maryland, and give the gift of warmth to somebody in need in the DMV.
Yep.
Yep, so I had to do all that to set everything. Oh, yay. Hey, y'all, we are back. Yeah. I'm so glad you're here, Ron. Yes, we are back, and we're going to, still got some more good stuff because Mr. Stanton here, peace and love, is, like I say, the jack of all trades, doing good work out in the community, sharing love, spreading love. That's his whole, can I say that, alma is that a word? Alma mater or something. Okay, anyway.
Oh,
that's
mantra.
Yeah, okay. That's his whole thing, the peace and love, and
That's right.
and he focuses on love. He says that's what he, if that's what you want, then that's what you need to put out into the universe. That's what you need to put out into the world. Peace and love. And for me, I personally feel love is God. God is love.
God is love. That's
when
right.
you do that and you put that love out there and you do everything with love, trust and believe it's going to work out.
That's right.
Trust and believe.
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to continue. So let's go. So your next topic.
So our next topic is focused on leadership and what are we doing to bring about the change.
Okay.
Right. So in my life at this moment, I'm doing two primary things in terms of modalities and shifting gears. So I'm shifting gears from the Stanton Group consulting, still consulting. We're still, looking for projects to be involved in with business development, project management, IT staffing. So if you have some positions you need to have filled in those spaces, our company does that. But getting away from doing that day-to-day to, as I said, speaking, broadcasting, but also, so it's shifting gears to walking into my passion. But the other part is something else that I've always done, which falls in line with, again, peace and love, and that's building bridges.
Okay.
And building bridges, one of our co-hosts of the Peace of the Morning Show is Delegate Darrell Barnes, who's the chair of the State of Maryland Black Caucus. We developed a concept that was adopted by the State of Maryland Legislative Black Caucus, which is called the 2030 Black Agenda. And basically we said that we need a strategy, in the era of Donald Trump and all the things that are happening in government that are not positive, and things that are happening in our communities that need to take place. For example, we need to be able to circulate dollars in the African American community.
Yes.
But in order to do that, we have to have something. So, okay, let's say people say, okay, I'm gonna go buy black. Can you go buy black tennis shoes? Can you go buy black cell phones? Can you go buy black bricks? Can you go buy black housing? What are we manufacturing? So in order to do what we say we want to do, we have to create the industry. We have to create the infrastructure for that. So in this 2030 Black Agenda, and you can go on the State of Maryland Legislative Black Caucus website, or you can go to the State of Maryland Legislative Black Caucus Foundation website and get information about the 2030 agenda. But in that agenda, our strategy has to be identifying industry and economics so we can create jobs, but not only create jobs, but to create training opportunities so that people are prepared for the marijuana industry that's now in the state of Maryland, right? Yeah. The tech industry that's continuing to grow. In America, we're going to need 1.2 million tech jobs in 2020.
The same thing as IT, right?
Right, that's right.
Cybersecurity.
That's right. We're not prepared for that. We're sending our tech work overseas, not just because it's cheaper, not because in a lot of instances the quality of work may be better, but also because we don't have the capacity, we don't have enough people here to fill those jobs.
Really? I thought we did, because that's the field that my son is in. He's in cybersecurity.
No, we did not.
Wow,
no,
I didn't know that.
We're not keeping pace with the growth.
Okay.
And those other nations that are training their people in India, in Europe, and in India and Asian countries, they're outpacing us in terms of their production of engineers and forms of and information technology, which is different from engineering, unless it's computer engineering. But anyway, and then the housing market. Do we have developers? We want to create affordable housing. Do we have construction companies? So these are questions. Then around health, what are we doing with regard to health? How are we impacting our health in our communities? What are we doing to make sure that we're growing foods that are non-GMO?
Yes.
Do we have farms? Do we have agricultural resources so that we can grow our own food? So we talk about our communities in the District of Columbia, in Baltimore City, in Prince George's County. So in throughout the country, there's a store called Aldo's. At least it's in this part of the region, excuse me. And Aldo's is a low-cost food option. Aldi's.
I've been saying, I'm like, that's why I was looking. I was like,
Right,
okay,
Aldo's
so
is a shoe company.
I've been saying, I know Aldo's shoes.
Aldi's, right.
As a
Then-
woman,
and you know the shoes, right?
Shoes and
Gotcha.
purses.
Gotcha. But Aldi's, but what they do is they don't really sell, they primarily sell canned and boxed foods. So canned foods, you look it up and you can see what aluminum does to the body, eating out of canned foods. So if your community doesn't have fresh fruits and vegetables, but your local grocery store is in your local grocery store or food distributor, what you have access to is cans.
You have
Then
no
that's-
choice 'cause that's all you have.
Right.
In an
So here's the question. What are we doing in our community, not waiting on somebody else, to make sure that we are providing our community with fresh fruits and
I
vegetables?
totally agree.
Right. So there's a group of folks here, Delegate Diana Fennell, what's the other brother's name? Arden Smith, and a few others that are working on bringing a natural health, natural foods grocery store to Prince George's County, right? And so, when my point is, the 2030 Black Agenda is to create the things that we need to support what it is we need to see taking place in our community. So we're looking for project managers, we're looking for business persons, any of those fields that I mentioned in education, health, law enforcement, the criminal justice system. There's a sister, Kawana Johnson, who's doing a great deal of work fighting for women who are incarcerated, being held on bond or bail, that are sitting in jail, losing their jobs, away from their families, losing their children, not even convicted, but because they can't afford the bail, they're just sitting in jail 60, 90 days, 120 days. And by that time, now your children gone, your job backed up, job is gone, and you're not even convicted of the crime. So, but they're addressing these things to make sure. So all of those types of issues, we want to make sure there's a platform for us to create a strategy to be involved, to change what, our trajectory, so that in 2030, the goal is to make sure that the things that are happening now, those factors that I mentioned before, the only one that we've improved in is education, that we improve and have less people going to jail, have greater health outcomes in terms of lower rates of sugar diabetes, lower rates of heart disease, lower rates of HIV. Those things are dropping, and lower rates of obesity, and our fitness levels are higher, and things of that nature. In terms of our financial situation, our finances are better. We're better able to sustain ourselves and take care of ourselves through financial literacy and other programs that help us. So those are, we want to be able to have tangible goals that we want to say by the 2030, we have done these things, right? And without a strategy, how do you do that? And so that's the 2030 Black Agenda being led by the State of Maryland Legislative Black Caucus and Legislative Black Caucus Foundation.
And I just have to do kudos on that, because I think that's awesome. With my whole thing that you actually call it I was already paying attention, sir, but you really caught my attention with the eating, because I'm a clean eater for the most part. And I've lived in PG County, I lived in Baltimore City, I live in Howard County now, and I have seen the difference of stores, grocery stores, in areas. It was hard for me in Baltimore City because it was not, when I say nothing,
Except for the fruit, man, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew melon.
You know what? So, and he's right, because the dude's got the horse pulling the, and you're right. You're exactly right.
Well, he said Lexington Market. Did you see what Lexington Market used to be? One of those places. I grew up going to Lexington Market as a child, but Lexington Market has some recently, man.
Yeah, they had some recent stuff that was
yeah, they
on
had.
there.
Yeah. They
So-
redid it. They rebuilt it.
Yeah,
So
they
the
rebuilt
man
it.
shut it down,
And
blew it out. They rebuilt
yeah.
it. That's
They
good
rebuilt
because
it.
they had
Yeah.
rats in the running around.
In the show,
in the
where the
food.
food was at, and behind the case, the
Yeah.
rat was just, and somebody recorded the whole thing. And I was like, "What happened?" So yeah, that was big.
But to your point,
But
you
to
know,
my point, I'm very glad and I'm very grateful that has happened, because I'm a positive person, seeing the glass half full. So I am grateful for that, because, like I say, I've actually experienced. So it's not something like, oh yeah, you're right. No, I've actually experienced, because it was so hard to be like, I want something, and it was nowhere to be found.
Right.
At all. It
but
was
you can find a liquor store,
and
you can find a carry-out.
I was just about to say that, sir. I was just about to say that.
A liquor store and a carry-out on every corner.
I could not deal. I'm like, I need some fresh fruit, but now where I'm at now, it's on every corner. Natural markets, natural this. You want to eat healthy, the fast food restaurants, the healthy stuff, gluten-free, GMO-free.
Do you see liquor
all
stores
that.
on every one of them
No,
corners?
not at all.
And do y'all have a
And
whole lot
then-
of shootings in your neighborhoods?
No, not at all.
But guess
and
what?
then the carry-out's got the healthy menu, the this and that, this free and that free. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. So I totally agree with that. I'm down for that. I'm grateful for that. So if anything I can help to put my hands in there and help with, I would love that, because I'm all about that. Because you
Awesome.
got to start with the inside of your body. You can work out all you want, but if you're not starting on the inside, it will show on the outside.
Come on, that's
I'm
right.
adamant. So I know we got to go soon, but any positive stuff that you want to leave for us folks? Like, what do you do when you get up tomorrow? What do you do for you to keep you going and to keep you,
Well, one of the things that for 2019 that we're working on is definitely starting with prayer and meditation.
Yes, I'm all about meditation.
So there's some chants that I'm meditating on, praying on, things in my life that I want to improve on, and so I'm waking up and I'm going to sleep saying these things.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm going to sleep talking about loving myself. I'm going to sleep talking about being disciplined and being focused and being early. Yep. I'm saying these things. I'm speaking them into existence.
Please,
and so
words of
it's staying,
affirmation.
constantly when I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning. I'm praying and meditating about these things, and I'm praying and meditating to myself.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because people are often taught through religion to pray somewhere else, right? Pray to the sky, pray to God somewhere. But God, as you said before, is love. But God is inside of us.
Well, heaven and God is within you. So
It's within
that's
you.
a fact.
And so we have to work, understand, and accept that. There's a piece that I've been listening to consistently. I've been sharing it with folks, and somebody shared it with me, Monica Petty, a good friend of mine, it's Reverend Ike's. It's one of Reverend Ike's speeches. And I had never really listened to Reverend Ike before. And, people hear Reverend Ike, they think, it's all kinds of stereotypes about him. But he talked about the mind and the power in the mind and how you can attract things. So, my wife, a few years ago, she listened to The Secret, which was...
I know The Secret like the back of my hand. Do you hear me? Every time I watch it. So I'm sorry. I had to cut you off on that
No,
one.
please.
Let me tell you
It's your
something.
show.
The Secret, the power, and the magic. Do you what? Go ahead.
But look at your life.
Ever since I got it, I'll get emotional, but I'm not. But ever since I got that when I was in my, I don't know, I think early 30s. I'm 43 now. But with Sir, when I say that it changed, it opens so many doors.
So speaking, it goes back to what I said in the
Yeah.
beginning, speaking what you want to see come into
Yes.
existence. So,
Yes.
but you have to believe. So people pray, right? But do you believe in the prayer that you prayed? Do you believe in yourself that you can make those things happen? Do you believe that you can? And I'm saying this so that I continue to make sure that I believe in myself. That I know who I am and I totally embody the power and the God inside of me. And so being able to pray and motivate yourself through meditation, water first thing in the morning, with just room temperature water. It alkalines the body. Put lemon in that. Drink that. It gets your organs flushed. Started, jumped.
Yeah, because you was just asleep, so everything is you got to rejuvenate.
You got to
everything,
rejuvenate.
wake up,
You
yeah.
know, and the same thing we're going to. So I'm also drinking appropriate amount of body weight water to my body weight.
Oh, I know
Thank
about
God
that.
I'm
Okay.
doing that. Thank God I'm doing that. Thank God I'm
It's
doing
awesome.
that. Because you need the body is 75% water.
I know.
The brain is even more water.
Yep.
As big as my head is, the biggest thing in it is water. So if I don't drink, see, I got that. See that was a.
I'm gonna stop you because you don't
Yeah.
know what.
If all your time. All right, and I'll close with this: do a vision board.
I have 2 of those.
Okay, do a vision board. So I've got to finalize, but do a vision board for 2019. Not only speak what you want to see in existence, but put it up there so you can see it and help to manifest those things that you want to see. So you can see it, say it, but then you got to walk it like you talk it. You got to execute it. You got to do it. And surround you, and I'll close on this. Surround yourself with people who you know are doing things that you want to do, places that you want to go, and even if they're not doing what you want to do, but they're productive and constructive and can help you. Those people that weigh you down by talking about a whole lot of negative stuff, watching a whole bunch of garbage, you know, always bringing you their problems, but don't ever bring you any solutions and help. Minimize your time with them and surround yourself and your time with people who are promoting you, who are pushing you, who are loving you. Brothers, take that domestic violence survey, find out, sisters, are you being abused in your relationship? Are you abusing your man? Because abuse goes 2 ways. You know, a lot of good brothers out here doing everything they can, and women are overlooking what they're doing, and they feel like they got to go do something else because you're just not listening. They talk to you, you're not paying them any attention. So this is a 2-way street. Sisters, you check yourself before you wreck yourself. And brothers, get on that domestic peace. Men
Okay.
for domestic peace.
So, stay with like-minded people. We're going to leave on that note. The only thing I want to leave you with for people that are going through a couple of things and you want to come out of it, you calm yourself down and you say, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come, and I'm safe. When you say that and you repeat that, trust me, things will turn around. I love all of you. I thank you for the support. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.